Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Meeting at the Crossroads music series. I'm your host, Darren Lorenzo from Atlanta, Georgia.
And I'm your co-host, Jardé Pierre, all the way from St. Lucia. Our Meeting at the Crossroads series is where you get to meet the artists of Upward and Onward. What inspires them, what makes them who they are, and how this pandemic has affected them.
Get ready for our Meeting at the Crossroads.
On today's episode, we have Abigail Marshall, Abigail Slocum, Jade Litaker, and Mariah Jude.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of our Meeting at the Crossroads. Today we have with us our tiny powerhouse. This is Abigail Marshall.
Hi. Hello.
So we're just gonna start everything cool, nice and cool. Just nice chit chat, just getting to know what's going on with you. So can you just tell us what's been going on with you?
Well, these days we're at home. Everybody's stuck in the house because of the pandemic. So there's nothing much going on, but there's been a bit of planning and rehearsing and practicing, getting myself attuned and everything else for when things really do pick up again. So that's all I've been up to, really.
Okay, cool. Well, same with me, just home. We have curfew, we can't go out, can't do much. So
Yeah.
it is what it is, just isolation, stuck in the house. So tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, well, as of 2018, all I've been doing is singing. I quit my day job and I decided to focus solely on my music career.
Mm-hmm.
I started singing when I was 2, and since then, it's all I wanted to do. I mean, it was a bit crazy in the beginning because everybody thought it was impossible in St. Lucia. But I've been able to, create something for myself. My boyfriend and I, we started a duo, and we've been going really well together. It was a bit rough in the beginning, as everything else does get, but it's been progressing. Since then, I've had a lot of opportunities. So that's a bit about me and my background.
Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful. Making love with you is all I wanna do. Loving you is more than just a dream come true. And everything that I do is out of loving you. La 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 do 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 do. And no one else can make me feel the colors that you bring. Stay with me while we grow old, and we will live each day in the springtime. There's love in you.
Well, hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Well, welcome to our Meeting at the Crossroads episode from our Upward and Onward Presents music series. This particular one is kind of like the strength and empowerment of women. Yeah, so how have you been since the pandemic started? What's been going on with you?
Pretty good, honestly. I escaped the city. I live in New York City, but I'm a bartender in Manhattan. So our bar closed pretty quickly, pretty much right when they said, that's it.
Yeah.
So I kind of escaped to New Jersey where my parents live.
Okay.
And stayed with them for longer than I anticipated staying with them. But it was nice, like we were in a big house and instead of our tiny apartment, and we all kind of had room and we entertained ourselves. That was good. Just got back to the city a couple weeks ago.
And how's it feel that you've been back?
I think because we got back when things started kind of, opening up a little bit. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel as strange as it did right before we left. It was just nobody was out. Everyone was in a panic and it was very strange. Yeah. Nobody on the subways or anything like that. Now I think people are kind of easing into it again. So
Yeah,
but it's nice, it's nice to have my own place again. And
I'm sure.
Sure.
So, when did you get into the industry? When did you start singing and performing?
My parents put me in piano lessons when I was, I think, 4 years old.
Okay.
And it was just like an after-school activity. Like, I think it was part of the curriculum or something. So then when that year ended, all my other friends were like, we are not taking piano anymore. Like, they hated it. But I was obsessed with it. And it was one of those things where, like, my parents never had to force me to practice like my friends.
Okay.
I just loved it so much. I loved music. I loved playing music. It was sort of like the thing I did to relax and like unwind.
Things. Who were some of your influences as far as music?
Oh man, Judy Garland.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I love Judy Garland. Like, her record is right there.
Okay.
It's all over my apartment. She's definitely like my number one favorite artist ever. Then I would say probably Billie Holiday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I love Billie Holiday, and it would be a tie between Joni Mitchell and Carole King, for sure.
That's a good tie.
Yeah.
Now, do you sing music from each one of these artists that you named?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Since I've been focusing a lot on like my guitar lately, I've been sticking to like 60s, 70s, like Carole King, Joni Mitchell.
So that's a good era. That's a good era.
Led Zeppelin, yeah, all that great, like Bob Dylan, all that folk rock.
Yeah.
With the duo and everything that's been going on, where have you guys performing? What have you guys been doing? What's been happening if you guys ask the duo?
Okay, so the duo, we've been performing at hotels in St. Lucia. To name a few, we've done Sandals Brand. We had to collaborate with other persons for that because it was more of a band vibe. And then we put something together for jazz last year. That was Jazz on the Beach.
Okay.
We've done jazz. We did jazz in 2018 as well, as the duo. We've done hotels like Trust Me, Bellevue Hotel, Bay Gardens, Ladera, Papillon. Well, now it's Starfish, but we've done quite a few hotels, and it's been an amazing journey.
Well, that's great. That's great.
I can't complain.
Yeah. That's great. As you guys did and Trust Me. I remember you guys did a gig at Jade Mountain as well.
Oh well, that one was not with the duo. That was in the very beginning when I did my very first gig. That was when I was 17. I'm grateful. I'm very grateful.
That's great because the thing about Jade Mountain, for those of you watching right now, Jade Mountain is our number one hotel on the island. It's where, if you have millions of dollars and you want to come to St. Lucia, that's where you go. Like Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, all the big stars, this is where they go. So to be able to perform at it. The what?
I think recently Kevin Hart came here.
Yes. Kevin Hart was there as well. Kevin Hart was there, and even what's his name? Black Panther.
Oh yes, Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman was there as well. Yes.
Yeah.
So to perform at such a great hotel is quite an accomplishment. That's good.
It was an honor. I mean, I met some wonderful people there. The first night I sung there, I remember in between our set breaks, I was just, calming down a little bit, having a drink, and then the general manager came and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I just had to come to see who's that new voice we have here? And I was so flattered because, I mean, that was my first night. I met a lot of wonderful people. The staff are amazing. The service is great. Everything is just great. So you're gonna have fun if you come here.
I'm all good already, so don't scare me. I'm not where you left me at all. So if you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody, if you wanna believe that anything could stop me, don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now. Walk away, you know how. Don't start caring about me now.
So hello, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Of course. And for those of you all that don't know who this is Jade Litaker. Yeah, where are you at right now?
Right now, I am in lockdown in Maryland, taking a little break from NYC, but I live in Harlem.
Oh, you live in Harlem. What part of Harlem? Or where? Not the address.
I live on Amsterdam Ave. I live off of Amsterdam Ave, right across the street from City College. College.
Cool. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. I was born in New Jersey.
Okay.
I grew up in the South Bronx near Yankee Stadium, right across the bridge from Washington Heights area.
Okay.
I grew up there for a little bit, and then when I was in high school, I moved upstate to the Catskills. So I guess technically central New York.
All right, I got you.
And,
yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
That's where I kind of I got more into the music thing.
Now, did you go to school for music or theater or anything like that, or was it something that you found later on?
I did. I went to college and I studied musical theater.
Okay.
And for a while, I dipped into the opera world of vocal performance. Right. I enjoyed it for the technique, but I found that as much as I enjoy opera, that world wasn't for me. So I came back to musical theater. And I've been doing it ever since, and I've wanted to stray and do a little bit more singing on the singing side, but every time I try to leave, musical theater is like,
it always grabs you back.
You know? Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I'm sticking with it.
Say I love you when it's so hard for me, and I hate to say I want you when you make it so clear you don't want me.
But what were like some of your favorite arias, or what were some shows that maybe you did maybe in school or something like that kind of took you into that area?
Ooh, I did. I forget the composer of this musical, but I did an excerpt of. It was like Dead Man Walking, I think is what the show was called.
Okay.
And it was all of these parents, like groups of parents in a parking lot after they found out that their children have been killed.
Ooh,
in a huge like school incident.
Okay.
That was probably one of my favorite. It was like a very modern opera, and that was probably one of my favorite ones that I did in college, which was Bear, a pop opera.
Oh,
I know people don't
about that. Yeah.
but I do, because you know it happens with recitative and it sticks to the opera formula. It just incorporates pop musical theater influence. I really enjoyed the music from that, and I enjoyed diving into those characters. And I feel like with opera, a lot of people that I went to school with that were music majors, they didn't realize how much acting goes into that. Like there's a lot of scene work that happens with that. It's not just an aria that you're singing with no feeling. There's a lot going on there.
Okay.
I'm beginning to love pop rock more. I think I didn't grow up with a strong understanding of rock music.
Uh-huh.
And I had friends who were into it, and I knew some songs, and I was like, okay, that's pretty good. But I never really dipped into it myself. As the industry has been kind of like molded by the pop rock influence, especially within the last couple of years. I find myself beginning to appreciate it a lot more.
Okay.
As well as that, I always return to R&B, whether it be old school, the new stuff coming out. I love Brandy. I love Aaliyah. I love the 90s girls of R&B. I love that stuff. So it's like, if I can bring that into my book every now and then, it's always just like, I love doing that. I started performing in these competitions that New York State has for middle and high school called NISMA. So it's when you take a bunch of kids from the county and they compete and they get judged on their progress of singing throughout the year. And it's very, very helpful if you want to see yourself improve. Okay. And I enjoyed it for that reason. Like, I wasn't competing with anybody else. I just wanted to see how I can begin to really perfect my craft and explore what I'm good at.
Who inspires you as an artist? Which person, I would say, jumps at you the most?
I cannot say a person. I think it's a whole set of musicians, singers, because I just cannot, give that credit to just one person. I mean, the very first person who inspired me was Celine Dion. First song I ever sang was a song of hers. That's what inspired me to even sing in the first place. And that was when I was 2 years old. So she really did bring that out of me. Then along the journey, I've actually I've gravitated to a lot of different artists as well. People like Whitney Houston, I love. Anita Baker, Shania Twain, Lucky Dube. I love his music because of how conscious it is and the message. He always brings the message in the most fun way. Stevie Wonder, I absolutely love his music. So creative, so talented. So I cannot totally blame it on just one artist, so I cannot say I'm inspired by one person. It is an entire list of people. So.
Wow, that's great.
Drift by my window, the falling leaves of red and gold. I see your lips in sunlight kisses. These sunburned hands I used to hold since you went away. The days grow long and soon I'll hear old winter song, but I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
Welcome to our meeting at the Crossroads. I just want to talk to you a little bit about being part of Upward and Onward. I know you've only been with us for maybe about a year now.
Yep, a little over a year.
Yeah, a little over a year. What has been your experience being with the management company, a fairly new management company? It's only been around for maybe about 3 or 4 years. What has been your experience with that? And speak as honestly as possible.
So currently, I think, not to draw into the pandemic, but I think the pandemic has really taught me a lot in how to market myself. And that I can't necessarily blame others for not knowing what I might need or how I want to be presented in the theater world or the TV or the film world, whatever medium. So what I've been trying really hard to do, which I've talked to my acting coach, he's like, the biggest thing that people want to see is, how do you see yourself? What are roles that you are very passionate about? What really drives you? And it doesn't serve you to say, oh, I like to do everything, because that's not that's not actually sustainable. And two, it just makes it harder. When you have a more specific set of goals, people want to see that, and then you get to grow from that, and then that can open other opportunities if you want to explore a little more. But at first, step one is figuring out who you are, how you identify as an actor, singer, what have you. So I've been really hunkering down and making that my priority. So I think going forward into the new year with my contract, I will be stepping up and saying, so these are auditions that I'm very passionate about, that I've gone for myself without anyone telling me, hey, here's an audition you might be interested in. So maybe then veer them in a direction of, okay, so you're this kind of type. I have a responsibility not only to them, but also to myself, to say, this is how I want to market myself, and these are the things I want to go for, and be very specific. Because then it makes their lives easier, it makes my life easier, and I don't have to, look at an audition and be like, if they send it to me and then feel guilty for maybe saying like, maybe this doesn't feel like it's right for me. Mm-hmm. How are they supposed to know that unless I say, hey, this is like my lane, and I would like to stay for however many years until I decide to change it. So.
I wish you bluebirds in the spring to give your heart a song to sing, and then a kiss. But more than this, I wish you love. And in July, a lemonade to you in some leafy glade. I wish you health, and more than well, I wish you love.
I love Casey Levi.
Okay.
She's a theater singer. I love Donalyn Chaplin. I think her name is Chaplin. She's a singer on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which is a television show, musical television show.
Okay.
I look up to musical theater artists that have a very clean tone.
All right.
And they have voices that sound like, oh, they could keep doing this for another decade and not be straining themselves. Mm-hmm. And I guess I look for versatility. I like having my expectations incredibly subverted, because then I just feel like they're taking me on an actual journey, like they have a story to tell.
Mm-hmm. How has this pandemic affected you? All of us are going through so much right now. We're stuck at our homes. We can't get out. We can't do much. The most we can do is just go to the supermarket and back home. So what have you been up to? What's been going on with you during the pandemic?
Well, the pandemic really did show me the importance of being able to go out there and, do what you do as a musician, because it really does keep you in a slump sometimes when you're at home and you're really itching to perform, and you can't do that because you're in lockdown. Another thing I really did understand is that, things can change it can change so quickly, and, you may be up one moment and then things may just, so you have to really enjoy every experience that you have, because you never know which one will be the last one. I mean, the last day I did before the pandemic, I had fun. It was amazing. But then, everything happened. And what I can say is, what I like about it is that there's so much time to do stuff and to plan stuff and to rehearse and learn new things and to see different artists. It's brought out a lot of talent. I could say that. I've seen a lot. There's this group I was in when things started out. It was called Rock the Lockdown. And they had so many talented artists, there were a few people who just started breaking out of their shell because, they liked singing, but they never got to. So this is what it is. I can't complain. I'm just happy to be alive, and I'm happy that my family's okay. I could contact people from across the world, and that's what I'm grateful for. So it's been an up and down.
My first instinct would be to say, I've learned a lot about kind of prioritizing my career and my passion over my survival job, because before this, I was really letting my job kind of drain me, and I was making up excuses to not work on my career.
Yeah.
But I really think that the most important thing that I learned was regarding the Black Lives Matter movement. I was kind of always someone that never really thought that my voice mattered very much, and like my little voice wouldn't affect anything. It wouldn't make a difference, you know, what I spoke up about. But that's just not true, and I think that's the most valuable thing I've learned is all of our like small voices are a chip in a bigger crack.
Yeah.
And if I don't speak up, that's a problem.
How has the pandemic affected you during I don't know, just day-to-day life, you know?
You know, I realized how much I thrive off of routine. And I think that's what a lot of people are learning about themselves as well.
Okay.
Because I always struggled with time management, but now even more so because I have a lack of routine. And I really had to get myself together where it was like, I have to make my own routine now. I can't center what I'm doing around my work day or my day job, or if I were in a show rehearsals I was in, I have to now come up with what I'm going to be doing throughout the day and follow through.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of discipline, and that's something that I've been really trying to work on, because I've always struggled with my discipline and my time management, blah blah blah. But it's getting easier as we go along, and as we ease back into some sense of normalcy and a regular routine.
Yeah.
I think that I will bring that lesson into that and be able to sort of remember that, like, I can't just sit and do nothing. I have to be able to make my own plans and have my own laid out.
What is something that you've learned about yourself during this pandemic?
Oh, that it is so easy for me to think that I've done enough when I know I haven't done enough. And that just goes back to just procrastinating. And I just learned that I just turned 26, so there was a lot of age anxiety, and I think that just happened around just being inside all day and just kind of going directly to social media, which is something that I've tried to break away from little by little.
And it's hard. It's hard.
Can't live in other people's worlds. It's not my job. My job is me, and that's the only thing I can worry about. So just kind of not letting, not associating age with success, and just saying these things happen for a reason at the time they happened. It's time to move forward and just take advantage of the time I have right now to be as creative and as, and make as many mistakes as possible. So a couple things I've done is I've posted self-tapes to Facebook and to Instagram. It's not something I've done in a very long time. And they weren't singing tapes, which is something I'm more comfortable doing. This was like straight acting, which is something I could not possibly. If you had told me like 2 years ago, you're gonna start actually being confident as an actor, I would be like, that's funny. I'm not an actor, but something that I really am passionate about now, and I really want to get better at, learn. So I've learned that, one, take risks, find out what you could be really good at, and just really dive into it, even if you're not comfortable, even if you're uncomfortable. Two, there's never going to be a right time. That's something I always told myself. I'll post that when I get to this point. It's like that doesn't exist.
We all know that you're a very young musician coming up in this world, coming up in the whole music industry. Based on all that you've learned thus far, do you have any message to fellow musicians who are trying to come up or thinking about pursuing music as a career? What would you have to say to them?
Okay, first of all, to any young musician coming up, I applaud you, because it's very, I would say, it's a big decision to make, because people think it to be not a serious thing. To do music, they don't take it seriously, or they don't think it's a bit of a job. So I applaud you for putting everything you have in music and hoping and working towards having a career in music. You never stop learning. You never stop learning. So the people that are around you, they're gonna teach you things. You're also gonna meet a lot of crazy people who think that it's a competition and they have to keep things to themselves. I've met wonderful musicians who want to give you, educate you about the business and tell you, hey, I've been through this, so take this from me, don't go this route, or maybe you could try this route. Just a bit of advice, etc. You could take that. But then there are also persons where you're gonna feel like, hey, they've done it, and you're gonna try to see if you can get advice from them, and you're gonna be so tight-lipped and difficult. But don't let that destroy you, okay? Like, it's never give up and never stop growing. That's the last thing I'm gonna say. Growth is your friend.
Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore? I'm falling. In all the good times I find myself longing for change. And in the bad times I fear myself. I'm up the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never meet the ground. Crash through the surface where they can hurt us. We're far from the shallow now.
All right. So basically, as while we're speaking about growth, can you tell me, where do you see yourself? What is the ultimate goal for you? What are you looking for when it comes to music? Or I would say, where would you want to be to say, yes, I made it?
Well, before the pandemic, we were working towards taking our craft to an international level. And I'm going to say it was a bit of a difficult journey, but we met some people who guided us. And I could say you're one of them as well. You gave us some wonderful advice. Yes. Hands down, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We appreciate that. And now, where I see myself saying I've made it, it's not only probably on one of the biggest stages I've ever encountered. There's always different levels you get to, where you get this is the biggest stage I've ever. I don't know. It's just this moment of fulfillment where you've fully been able to show probably the world what you could do, and be happy that you did it in your best possible way.
We'd like to thank you for being on the show with us today. Once again, guys, this has been our meeting at the Crossroads. Do you have anything that you'd like to say? Let people know where they can find your music, where they can follow you, Instagram, Facebook? No?
Well, you could find me on Instagram at Gail, GAEL_N_music, or on YouTube as well at GAELN music. So that's basically it for me.
Perfect. Well, like I said again, thank you once again for being on the show, and hopefully we'll see some more of you in the years to come, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Now, your attention and time is much appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you next week for more performances and music. Remember, success is only an arm's length away. Stay safe, stay home if you can, and if you can't, please practice social distance with a healthy and conscious way of life. Upward and onward, folks.